Yo, what it do? Welcome back to another episode of Lifestyle After 5. Tonight we have a few special guests, so please stay tuned, listen in. Want to thank everybody that's been supporting us on the radio 99.1 WDJY. And also, please check out our website aliafter5.com where you can get all of our merchandise, which is all created by M. Redman, our host. And also, please check out our website just to see all of our exclusive content there, where you will see this episode that is being played on the radio, but it will also be able to be viewed later down the road, probably about a week or two after this episode that you hear now today. So, without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to the hosts, Ali Muhammad and MD Red. Thanks everyone for listening, and please show our lovely people who will be talking today. Show them love.
Going on another Wednesday episode. How you been, MD Red?
Oh man, I can't complain. Good evening to everybody.
Happy New Year to all the listeners out there. 2024. We expecting big things, your dreams to come true. Hopefully you got your vision boards and everything out there. So tonight's guest, as we have a host of guests, it's going to help you with that. I get a lot of complaints, both men and women, about relationships. Ain't no good men out there, ain't no good women out there. So it's what people saying. That's what they say, at least in 2023. So we're going to try to turn that around in 2024, at least get the
Yes,
conversation going and get it out there on the show. So we got Sherry. You've seen her. She's about to be family. She's been on here a few times.
Two times.
Yeah.
She's a part of Three Wellness, where
Yes.
there's Miss Donna, the lovely Donna, is with us, and the lovely Sion.
How you ladies
Yeah.
doing?
And so they came back. Have you seen the conversation that we had with Three Wellness last time? They brought backup. So, people say I'm a little jaded and I can be an asshole. So they brought Coach Burrell.
They brought the bodyguard with them.
They brought the bodyguard, Coach Burrell, to even it up. So she brought
Yeah.
a
I'm
Coach
sorry.
Burrell.
Have y'all seen them?
not in person.
Not in person. Well, I've seen one, yeah.
Well, we
They
know
don't need me, bro.
So we got
Yeah.
Coach Burrell is a relationship coach. So I got my pen and paper out and my glass of wine. I'm finna learn. He's gonna get us fellas right for 2024. So welcome to the show, everyone. So I don't even know where to begin. I got the ladies, I got the coach.
Go
So
right into the coach.
let's go right on in, coach. Let's get this together. So a lot of relationships, so they say, is due to lack of communication. You got the men saying on one end that women don't listen and they talk or whatever, and you got women on the other end saying that men ignoring them and they emotional unavailable. That's the term that they use in today's world. So men say, how am I emotionally unavailable? I'm at home. I'm not going out. I'm here with you. So we can start right out with the tough questions. You can shed a little light on that.
What was the question?
So the question is, there's a lot of finger pointing in relationships when it comes to communication. On one end, you got women saying that the man is unemotionally available or emotionally unavailable. Emotionally unavailable.
Okay.
The man is saying, well, I'm here all the time. I try to talk to you. I work, I come home, I pay the bills, I buy you, what you want. What more do you want from me? And there's a disconnect, I think. And it's not for lack of trying. I think, the man is actually trying, and then there's the woman. She's trying and doing her thing, but somewhere there's the communication is lost in translation.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. It works both ways. I think the thing that I've learned the most is how often a woman will say things like, "I know men are visual," and yet they get upset if you then you got a time limit on how long you look at a young lady walking by type of deal, or they go to bed in the bonnet, that whole thing there. But I think the biggest issue is the difference between what we think we know and what we're willing to accept. That's a big problem. We know that men don't hear the same thing that the women are speaking. We know this, but we don't really accept it because we don't change anything. And that's the toughest problem right now.
What would you recommend? And I'm glad you brought that up in the bunny, because that's one of the biggest complaints that men say about women. They go to bed with rollers and bunny on. They don't care. You nobody. They put the pajamas on, but they won't go to the grocery store without taking the rollers out and fixing their hair and putting on a little makeup and to look good for everybody in the world, but they man.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your advice to a man trying to communicate that to a woman? Like, I want you to be sexy for me too. Hey, I'm human too. You look good for that work husband. What are you going to do for the real husband?
And at the same time, we do have to be aware of compromise. You can't expect her to do it every single time, just like she needs to understand that she can't come to bed with that on every single time. And that's where the communication comes in again. You can voice your opinion about it, but you got to be fair about the fact that she can't and shouldn't have to do that every night. So there needs to be some balance.
So how do you say that without getting in trouble?
Well, you're going to get in trouble.
Okay.
So the best thing you can do is make sure you have the right thing in your hand when you do decide to come in and make that discussion.
Okay.
Okay, can I chime in?
Of course. Uh-oh, here come the women.
Oh, okay. So, I kind of agree with men sometimes and women other times, but, you say that thing about men being visual and women know this. And, if it's addressed, then we get upset. But I personally wouldn't have an issue with the man making a suggestion, because I would only think it's fair for him to give me the opportunity to fix it, as opposed to it being a problem and it just tearing his nerves up, and then he end up being with someone else because he needs that visual stimulation. The facts are the facts, Mm-hmm. The truth hurts sometimes, so because I would tell a man what I want from him. And being in the fitness industry, because I think it goes like this, how you look says what you do and what you don't do, So if I'm with someone, I was like, I need you to be a little bit more concerned about your health and your fitness, mm-hmm. Because when we met initially, you were like gung ho, got a gym membership, and as time progressed on, you kind of fall back. But ultimately, I think it's both parties' responsibility to keep people showing up at their best. That's just me. But
and it sounds good. And if only it was reality, because women always say, I want my man to communicate with me. And I don't see nothing wrong with a man giving me a suggestion, but somehow a man's suggestion somehow over time turns into control. He's trying to control me. He's not accepting of me. And all he's trying to do is communicate. And I don't know how that happens. A man can jump. Well, go ahead.
I get what you're saying. Like over time, but men have said things to me that I didn't like, but I know he's got my best interest at heart. So, it hurts, but you still got to be honest. And I feel like over time, when you continuously say it, then you kind of adjust and you a lot of times it's how you say it. It's not what you say, it's the delivery, hey, babe, and a babe on the end, or I love you on the end, or something, And I know what you're saying. I mean, it's true. I agree with you, but
And that's where I get
I
in
like to
trouble.
deal in the facts. I'm probably one of the few women that do that.
It's always how I say it. Not what I say, it's how I say it.
I could be wrong, but I think men can take that better.
No, I'm just sorry.
I could take, hey, you
I
need
don't
to
think
lose a few
so.
pounds. You need to go and get in that gym and tighten it up a little bit there. I think
Man,
I
if
can
you
take it
say
better
something
than a
about a
woman.
man's stomach, it is over. Like, you cannot address a man's stomach. I found that to be the case. If you say something about a man's stomach, then it's like,
Right.
his ego is gone. I mean,
Women tend to not just say and make a point. You just don't say, hey, baby, you gain a little weight. Let's go to the gym. Let's work it out. Most women go all in. Usually, some of the women I didn't see, it's like, oh, you didn't fell off. Yeah, you used to be fine. You didn't gain 30 pounds. I mean, it's like, just look at you. Like you just ain't even got it no more. You need to get in the gym. You need to work out. It's usually a little added drama on to that. I mean, that would bring my self-esteem down, or it's at the wrong time when I'm getting ready to go out and I'm feeling good and confident about myself. I didn't put on this outfit and I just know I'm clean in this outfit. And
Kill it.
then you hit me with it. Yeah, then that's when you hit me with, you look you look terrible. Matter of fact, I was listening to the Steve Harvey morning show this morning, and they was talking about guys that get tailored suits, but then try to make them tailored like a store bought. And like he said, if you got that gut and everything, you look like a snow cone. You don't look good in that suit. You might well go buy a store bought suit. Your legs, skinny jeans is for skinny people. So yeah, I mean, I've seen some men that have tried some things that partner. I mean,
but
because
I
other
think,
men gonna tell you, other men will tell you, you wrong. Nah, dog, that ain't gonna work. That look a little young on you. But do women tell other women that hey, girl, you need to work out and get in the gym?
They worse than that.
Women
Yeah,
don't do that.
exactly.
women,
Women don't correct.
Women don't talk to each other like that because what we're constantly trying, even though we know they look bad,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
very careful to say,
With
we're very careful to, find some good point to pull out because women talk to each other like that. You'll put your picture up on Facebook. Oh, girl, you look good. And you such and such. And we all know they look horrible. We all know they shouldn't have put that picture up there. But trying to keep peace and trying to not look like you think you're all that, we back off of it. So our communication to one another is not good.
Okay,
can you
yeah, good
expect
point,
it from a
Donna. So, Donna, you say that our communication is not good to each other, but even when people put that on Facebook, they do have a best friend.
Yeah.
A best friend wouldn't have let them put that up on
Right.
Facebook. So
how
they
would you
don't
tell her to
have a
take it
friend.
down? How would you tell her as her friend to take it down?
If it was my friend, it wouldn't be up there in the beginning.
There you go.
But
She feeling good about herself, and she snapped this selfie, and before you know it, it shot up and it's on Facebook. You can't stop that in Instagram and TikTok. Now you see it, you going through like, ooh, she shouldn't have did that. Now how you gonna tell her take it down? That ain't gonna work.
you have to be really good friends, or you have to have been around them for years, or um you have to have had conversations like that.
Mm.
But if you have not had those type of conversations, that's a no.
Yeah.
I want to say something, if I may. I'm going back to the point that was made about addressing the man. And I will tell you this, ladies, the hardest thing that you're dealing with is what we have to deal with in society. Coming to us and pointing out yet one more fault is the hardest thing that you have to deal with. We're already battling the fact that everything we are is wrong. We can't say this right. We can't do that right. And then next thing you know, you're up here pointing at my stomach. it's just another, it is part of the ego, because every time we turn around, we're being dismantled. And in this modern world of feminism we're dealing with right now, yeah, it is hard to point at things because everything is already wrong.
I can agree with that. And then too, you made a statement. You said it's hard for women to talk to each other. So if it's hard for you to talk to each other, how can you expect a man to come and talk to you and get it right?
It comes with maturity. You have to kind of distinguish between what age group you're talking about when it comes to certain things. If you're talking
The
about
older, the worse.
Mm,
uh
no.
no,
I
on
think it's
certain
easier.
things.
It's easier to tell a 20-year-old, darling, tighten up or whatever, than it is to tell a 40 or 50-year-old.
Still depends on the topic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on certain topics.
yeah. Now, 20-year-old, you're gonna tell her she doesn't look good.
That's gonna mess up her self-esteem right quick,
Yeah,
fast, and hard.
you just knocked her self-esteem. She has no more self-esteem.
Mhm.
Really quick, really easy. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
not good enough.
Yeah.
I went through that. I'm not good enough. I don't look good enough. I don't look like the other women. What's wrong with me? Go into a spiral,
Mhm.
and really mess them up for years.
Mhm.
And in our culture, we don't go get therapy. So that's deep down, that's seated. So every relationship she goes into,
She's
she's
taking
taking that with her.
it.
And anytime a man, if her new man says anything about the way she looks, or she's not, can you change this? That wound opens back up.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's like you pouring salt in it, you're digging in it. Now you've messed up her ego in this relationship, and she doesn't know how to stay in it. So she moves to the next one, and she
Mhm.
moves to the next one, trying to figure out. And it's not necessarily the man, it's that wound that she's dealing
Mhm.
with that she never got help with.
Mhm. Yeah.
How can we let women know, as a man, a black man, how can you let a woman know that I'm just trying to communicate? I am not trying to hurt you or hurt your self esteem. I'm not trying to damage you. Let's face it, men are horrible communicators. Most of us don't know too many words in the vocabulary. We're limited. And the majority of us are limited in words. We don't know how to express ourselves. That's why there's so much violence, And how do we communicate with our women? Because you get this thing, especially in the black race, that black men are against black women, uh, which I don't feel is true. I don't think that is true. We abandon the black women. The black women don't feel protected, and I don't know what can we do to make, or is it even possible for us to make you feel loved, or is this even an issue? Is this something that society has put out there?
It Okay, I'm going to say this, that you are correct. Society is really just, when the age of the phone came out, it just went in all kinds of wrong directions. But I
Yeah.
would say this for the couple, because I'm still doing that to this very day. And after a certain age, it's just gonna be harder. But I go to my mate and try to remind her on a regular basis that we have to form transparency. We have to form this the safety between us, the safety net, that we have to have this bond of safety. And it starts with being able to be vulnerable in front of each other and be transparent. So what I'm trying to get across to her is, I don't need you to be afraid of being wrong because you think you're going to be chastised or talked to a certain way or
Mhm.
judged or thrown under the bus. You have to get some communication going to build trust. If you can get trust going, that'll fix a whole lot of those communication issues. And it starts with letting her know she can be vulnerable with me, and I will protect your feelings.
That's a hard task to do. What is some suggestions to get that going? Because easier said than done. I mean, you got couples that's been married 20, 30 years, or even dating. Let's look at Deion Sanders. Who would expect him and what's her name, Tracy, after 12 years to call it quits? I mean, and no one's exempt from this. And this
Yeah.
expands cultures, income levels. For some reason, we just can't seem to get on the same page and stay there. We grow apart.
Yeah.
One go one way, another go another way. I just don't understand, how do we stay in sync and continue to stay in sync like some of the couples did back in the day.
I don't know if they stayed in sync back in the day. I think it was just a culture that you just didn't jump out of that marriage, or you just didn't jump out of that relationship. You stayed there regardless of
Yeah.
whether you had no self-esteem or there was no trust. You stayed there no matter what, because if you got out of it, then society at that time put you in another
Category. Yeah.
category.
Category. Yep.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you just stayed in there. And that's why I kind of get aggravated with people. Yeah, I've been married 30, I've been married 40. It's almost like, if I did it, why couldn't you? Well,
Mhm.
maybe I don't want to be beat down all the time. Maybe I don't want to live in misery and have health issues from the miserable state I'm in.
Yeah.
So we've kind of got past that, but we went all the way to the left on it, till we don't stay in anything now. So we're just all over the place. But the fact of trying to get this communication thing going is, if we could just come down to, I'm going to stay here and work through this. We're going to work through this. We're going to talk this through. You got to be willing to put the effort in
Both
to make
parties.
a change. Both parties putting an effort into it and understanding. I just don't want to keep hopping around. And now if you both put everything in, and your communication and all is, you've done the work, you've gone the process, and it still doesn't work, that's a different story.
Mhm.
But you've got to put some work, even if it means both of you going to therapy together. And then therapy, and I'm big on therapy now, where I used to push it away. But sometimes you have to vent, you have to get things out,
Mhm.
or they will fester into disease.
Exactly.
I definitely agree. And I would take that a step further. I think in today's society, you not only need therapy, but you do need marriage coaching.
Yeah.
Marriage is almost like it. Well, it is a sport. It's a team sport, and
That
team
is.
sports need outside influences. Whether someone is meeting with you monthly, uh, uh, every quarter, every 6 months, every week, you need someone in your corner. I don't know, I was on YouTube or somewhere, and it was a guy saying when him and his wife have problems, they're not allowed to go to anyone that's going to take their side. You know, he won't go to his friends because his friends gonna take his side. He don't want her going to her friends because they're gonna take his side. They're gonna go to the opposite, where people gonna disagree with them and encourage them to be together. And sometimes it take that mutual, non-biased party to translate what people are trying to say, because when you get into your feelings and emotion, you only hear what you want to hear.
Mhm.
Yep.
It could be I love you, but in your ear, it's the mind is a powerful thing. It's I hate you. You know, that person don't mean it. Well, it is. I mean, but you can't believe what you see and hear when you mad and in your feelings. You not understanding. Sometimes you got a winning hand you arguing about,
Mhm.
and you don't realize you need somebody to translate that. And you know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. I think it takes a village to stay married.
Oh God, yeah.
Would agree with
When
that.
you're talking, yeah, you're right. When we talk about communication, it's almost like you're communicating when something is wrong. Like, we need to talk because something is wrong, but what about the communication of telling the other person what the expectations are? You know what I'm saying? And being very specific about what you need from the other person.
And I will say, you women need to fix that. because if you sit across from a man because he's cute and he barely had 3 sentences, but you stayed with him because he drove the right car and he was cute, and then you wonder 5 years later why that man doesn't communicate. He never did.
Mm.
Wow.
And I always say that too. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you brought that up, because I always say men gave their red flags from the beginning. Most men don't really switch up. They've always been the same. In your mind, you just saw a different person in the beginning and didn't realize who the real person was until you laid with them, had a baby with them, or married them. Then you realize you had an asshole that was an ass all along. And then that's when you start to think about that first date. You know, his ass didn't pull the chair out for me. He made me pay for this. Then it started to hit your mind. He never changed. He was late. He didn't care. Matter of fact, he put the bill on you. Yeah. Now you realize, oh, I married a bum. 10, 15 years later, 4, 5 kids into this deal, or that asshole. Or you thought it was cute when he was controlling and told you, oh, you better not I better not catch you talking to nobody else, and grabbing you when you out there and riding around your house or the club, when you out at this dinner, checking to see where you was at and grabbing you, telling you better get you better get your ass home now. Oh, that was cute then, but 2, 3 years later, oh, he's controlling. He's a narcissist. He's crazy. He changed. I don't know what happened. He didn't used to be like that. No, he was always like that.
But they always say that women are expecting men to change, and men hope women stay the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever changed. I think I'm still.
No,
I've matured, but some basic core things about me never change. The core part of a man never change. I mean, he may mature and adapt slightly to certain different things, but the core of him pretty much stays, unless there's some type of dramatic event that sparks or causes that change. But on its own,
Like you said, we want y'all to stay the same. We meet you, you got hair all the way down to your shoulders, and you're wearing all these nice tight clothes. And then after we get to meet y'all, the hair comes off, the Aunt Jemima wig comes on.
You want a real man.
I want you to stay where you were.
Yeah.
Flirty.
I'm glad you brought that up. So, women wear girdles now, these body shapers, as they call them, body shapers, fake hair, eyelashes, makeup, and even after all that, then they turn around and turn a damn filter on the damn camera. So you don't know what they look like. Now, what if you met this man that came in the gym and he had this body shape on?
You might as well not even
he looked
finish.
good. And look, he had something.
Answer.
Yeah, and he had something down in his pants. And you looking at them tight gray sweatpants, and he got something. He got that shape. Hanging down his pants, everything. Yeah, he got the junk in the trunk and everything. And he started talking to you and whatever. And then you get home, and then he pulls this junk out of his trunk and he throw that on the table. And then he pulls his waist trainer out, and then his stomach busts open. How would you feel?
They called the police, bro.
But they want us to do that. They do that to us all the time.
It's a robber in my house.
Girl, I thought he was this, but he was really that. How would you feel?
I would feel cheated.
No, you wouldn't. No. What happened? You should love his heart. You should love him for him. He's nice.
That's right. It's just hair.
That's absolutely.
Yeah. It's just his thing, Well, what happened to that? No, I'm just saying. I'm being real. Please drop a bomb for that fake stuff. I want us to be real. Y'all hype all day long. All you hear is, you ain't a real man. I need a real man, and I need something real. But we're not getting necessarily everything real.
But that's because you guys have done that. You have put it out there that this is what you're looking for. Yes?
I disagree.
You always go for the one with
I don't know one man that is. I don't know one man that has a conversation that says, you know what, I want me a girl that's got a BBL. My girl need to get this BBL. Now we like it because it may look good. We're gonna say she look good, but I don't. Most of the women that's on Instagram with the lashes, with the BBLs, are single.
Yeah, but they get a lot of attention. I'm not talking about
Good as
our age
attention. They're
group,
not
but
getting rings. Look at the men that are married, that's loving their women or whatever. They're getting a lot of attention. I mean,
Getting
men
ran.
are visual. I mean, but okay, we can cuss on this show. Of course, a hoe is going to get an attention. And I'm not saying all of them are, but if you showing ass and titties out there, of course you're going to get attention. Walk down the street with your ass and titties out and see won't people give you the attention you looking for.
Mhm.
Wrong attention.
Well, you know, a lot of those women, right, but a lot of those women are looking for external validation, you know, and that's not only going to last but so long, you know. So
validate you as long as your ass and titties are out. That don't mean we like you. I mean, we like you. That don't mean we love you.
I work in a high
We're not
school
looking.
and I tell the girls all the time, if you dress like a bone, we coming like dogs.
That's what we do. You put a bone out there, and we're running to you, trying to get you.
but that's what we come into, and I'm saying women in general. We feel like we've got to look like that to compete. Whether it's
Be
it's
well for
just
the
for the
dub.
attention.
What for Future? Shout out to Future, by
It's
the
a
way. No
competition
disrespect,
thing.
cases. He hit it. But
It's
no,
a
it's not a
competition.
competition. For what type of man, though? The drug dealer? What type of
I'm
man
just
are you
saying
looking for?
from what I
No. I'm
see.
just saying. Yeah, when what you see, what type of men do you see going on? How many CEOs is going out to Instagram models?
none.
How many professional men are
Mm.
going after the? Unless it's to get them for one night, and then you're gone. It's kind of
Mhm.
like in one of the podcasts. It was and I don't know if this is true, but they say that it was I can't think of the name of, but it was a article in the New York Times or somewhere. It's in one of my previous live we talked about. I read the article on one of our previous lives where this young lady was saying she's looking for somebody that makes at least $500,000 a year. She's not a gold digger, but she wants to live a good life, and that's what it takes if you live in New York City, because the average rent is very costly and everything. And she needs a professional. She's dated guys that made 200,000 before, but can someone tell her where these guys hang out at that makes this type of money and everything? And she's cute. So they say that the CEO of
It was a bank.
it was a bank. I can't think if it was Merrill Lynch or whatever responded. I have to go back and look at that other episode to her, and he was telling her basically what you're trying to do is exchange beauty for compensation as an investment. And he explained to her that if a guy makes $500,000, he didn't get that way being a dummy. He's a very smart, brilliant type guy, and he's not going to waste his money. And basically, like he said, as he get older, his money and wealth will increase with time. Her beauty will only decrease. So as a smart guy, she's a short-term investment. So he will invest in her for a short term and then get rid of her, because that would be the smart decision to do. She brings no value outside of that. And that's what sorry to all the Instagram models, but if you don't have a brain and no other type of substance, you are a short-term investment. You look good now, but you're not going to continue to keep looking good. You're going to decline.
I wonder if those models even think it, those Instagram people, if they even think it through like that.
They don't.
Mm-mm.
They don't,
Mhm.
because society is trying to tell you know your worth, but you don't even know your worth. You can put anybody can say anything. Oh, I know my worth. Well, what really am I worth? And they don't realize value is not what you put on yourself. Value is what you bring to other people.
Right, right. How do you add value to other people's life? Correct.
Exactly. And we got this term twisted. A lot of these women bring no value to anybody. Matter of fact, they're liabilities, because you get with them, you got to take them to the top dinners. You got to buy them the Louis Vuitton, the Chanel, and you got to. I mean, you paying for all of this as a man. So as a man, you're looking at this. This is a liability. You should be able to write that off on your taxes. This is debt getting with her. This is not I mean, it looked good. And for an hour or so, it may feel good. But after that, when you come to your senses and you realize, what am I doing?
Or until she finds somebody that's richer, she's gonna ride out on
Exactly.
you.
She's gonna dump you eventually to somebody richer.
I guarantee you
No.
they're not looking at it like that. They're not looking at it as investment. They're just looking at right now, the moment where they are, what they're doing, what they're putting out, and society is feeding them. Keep doing it. Keep showing this. Keep getting the BBLs. Keep, even though they hear the negativity, the negative parts of it, it's still everybody's doing it. Push it out there. You'll and keep talking about relationships and why they can't find anybody, and nobody's coming back at them and saying, look at this. Everybody's agreeing with them on the most part. So they have no reason to think anything different because they aren't mature enough to look at it as an investment.
Especially when
This
they
is
don't
why.
understand that on the websites, 90% of those women are looking for 10% of those men.
Exactly. There's not a lot of men, especially black men, that fit that category that 90% of the women looking for.
I'm picking.
So this is why I try hard to break these narratives that they put on black men. It's like, no, don't blame black men or men, period, for you going to Mexico getting industrial chemicals pumped up your ass. We didn't tell you to do that. You did that on your own.
What's the long-term health issues from that? Like them getting all this plastic surgery. Like I know it's got to be costing something.
Oh yeah, it's very pricey.
It's costly. It's cheaper over there. That's why they keep going to Mexico.
But you're risking your life. You could die.
Yeah, yeah, they know it. They know it. I see it. I see them come in. They come into the gym all bandaged up, but they have to keep working out. But I see it. I mean, you're going into $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 easy with those procedures.
You're still not getting to the root cause, and that's
yeah.
But this is the thing, and I speak to black women because I'm black, so I know black women. What about other women? I'm worried about y'all.
Yeah.
To everybody else, you know. I know a couple, and I'm not going to say their names, but he was an alcoholic. She got cancer. She took a chance, took her hair. She got cancer. All her hair fell out and everything. They just got married last month.
Oh, man.
They're happy as hell together. I mean, and even I was watching one, what, a strange relationship, strange marriage. It was this little white lady that did, well, she was born with no arms. She literally had hands on her damn shoulders. And she married some white guy that was like 6'4", normal guy. So, and I say that because women are all sizes, shapes, deformity, and everything are getting husbands and getting good men that love them. And so it doesn't take all of this. Now, granted, I mean, I'm gonna compliment you, but it doesn't take all these BBLs and everything that you're killing yourself. Black men ain't necessarily looking for that. They're looking for you in peace.
And most of us
give us some beauty. What were you saying?
I was going to say most of us, the 80, the 90%, have always been trying to prove that we're trying to invest in your relationship and not around your relationship, but we're getting ignored.
Exactly. And then, like I said, women don't want the type of men that want them. They're looking, like you said, these Instagram models, yeah, they're attracting men, but what type of man are you attracting? You're attracting the type of man that got 4 or 5 children that he don't take care of, which is another topic altogether.
Me personally, man, I don't want a woman that everybody's looking at anyway.
I don't know if I had Beyonce, that'd be a different story. I want everybody gonna look.
If I
They're
had
gonna
Beyonce,
talk
I
Queen
wouldn't
B.
purchase
I don't know. I don't
Beyonce
know.
outside of
Yeah,
the
I got.
house.
I want to be able. Yeah.
Nope.
Were they dapping me up, man? That's you? Yeah, dog.
And what's the first
But
thing you gonna do when
beauty
you come
is
home?
in the eye of the beholder. So, like,
It
and
is.
also, someone having a pleasant personality, just enhances their beauty. So,
That's true.
what you might think is beautiful, another guy might not like. So
Right.
you
Funny
can't
you say
say
that. There's a term around men that I've heard, and I'm sure some of y'all, the other two men on here have heard, where guys have said, "You know what? She ugly, but she fine." Have y'all ever heard that term?
Yeah.
It's where he's not in his eyes. He's like, she doesn't look attractive to me, but her personality got me. It's something about her that I like. That's got me drawn in to that. So you see what I'm saying? Men, even though men are visual, you can still get a man drawn in by your femininity. And I know that's like a in today's world, that's like a no-no.
You can't hide sexy. I don't care what you look like.
I mean,
Yeah,
personality definitely plays a part in everything. Like, we're not.
because you can be beautiful and ugly. And, I've seen women that Instagram model, beautiful women, but when I hear them talk with their attitude, if you're a man, you got to have this and that. Wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Sexy is an aura, not a look.
Exactly, it is. All about that class. It's a certain amount of grace. It's like arguing with a man gets you nowhere. You get a lady that knows how to sit and talk or whatever,
Yeah,
you be down on your knees for her.
Yeah, she get up on
I seen the biggest dudes bow down to the smallest of women. And when she say jump, he jumping.
My parents. My dad is 6'6". My mom is 5 feet. She run that.
I mean, I've seen guys that they can't even talk. Man, I gotta take this home and talk to my wife. See what my wife say about this. They don't make a decision without her. I mean, my wife run everything, man. My wife got this going. There's guys out there that they know they ain't nothing, man. Ain't nothing. Bobby Brown's a perfect example. Mike Tyson. They're nothing without their wives. They make all this money, but they're giving it to their wives. Guys that get paid, give their wives their check and be like, baby, just give me enough to go out and have me a drink or two. Long as I got the bills is paid and the lights on, and I got enough money to get me some beer, a 6-pack of beer, and to go out here and there, oh, I'm good. They don't even know what the hell going on in their house. All they know is they go to work, come home, she hand him some money, and he like a kid. He get his little allowance, he go play for a little bit, and then he come back home. And it is what it is.
Okay.
Speaking of coming home, ladies, there's nothing like coming home to some peace. I don't know how many times we have to say that.
Say it again.
You
Say
can.
it again.
Okay, Coach Burrell, when you say peace, okay, I'm glad you said that. Okay, so men keep saying peace. So define that for me, because it almost feels like nothing can be addressed, because so many men, anything they don't want to hear is disturbing their peace. So can you classify what that peace?
Okay, we're going to start with what they're hearing to begin with, but think about your man and the battles that he has to fight as soon as he walks out the door to go to work. There's people in there that don't want him there just because he's Black. There's people in there that act like they like him and they really don't like him. We're trying to get to work and back without being stopped by the po-po.
There you go, right there.
We've got battles with our own people. Then there's women at that job. It is a constant battle all day. We've got all this armor on and we're just trying to protect ourselves so we can just go in and get our job done, get back to the house. And then she's there.
That's right.
And even Chris Rock said it before, you got to leave yourself outside, go in there and get her taken care of, because she don't care what you've been through. It's her turn. And what we mean by not having that peace is when we get in that door, it's why didn't you do this? It's okay. I'm sorry. Let me just say this. When I get home, I want to take my armor off. We are in relationships lately where we got to put more on before we get through. It is a bigger battle at the house than it was at the job. I'm just lucky to get home without getting stopped, and then my girl is not happy for whatever reason. Who knows? But that's where we mean. That's what we mean by that piece is just not there. We walk in the door, and your job is to be taken care of. We don't care what he's been through. It's my turn.
Okay, but even if you come home to a peaceful house, okay? So, because anytime they're back to the topic of communication, you know, men will sometimes say, I need peace because they don't like to have communication at any time.
I don't think that's what that means.
No, it's a time and place. Like if I just came home from a hard day's work, it's nice to come into the house and a woman is sitting, hey, meet me at the door. I'm glad to see you. How was your day? Let me rub your shoulders. Let me fix you a glass of wine. Or because men live in patterns. You know his patterns. This is what he gonna do. And it's already, I already got this laid out for you. And then sometimes, just little gestures like that. He come home and you surprise him. You in something nice. You in a dress. Hey, I've been waiting on you all day. Little stuff like that to boost his self-esteem. Because men are ego driven. Stroking a man's ego. We don't want to hear that and battling and everything. It only gonna make a man more combative. Now, if you got some issues that you want to get off your chest, sit down with a man and just tell him, look, on Saturday, let's go out to dinner and I want to have a conversation or something with you, or I want you to go relax. Let's have this conversation and let's get this out. I want to understand some things. So let's pick a time that you come or whatever out there and let's address this and let's get this fixed. And my goal is to have a solution, not just to complain and say with endless whining, how do we fix this?
The last thing you want is for him to get home and you look out the window and realize that he been home for 20 minutes and hadn't gotten out of that car. There's a reason for that.
I thought I was the only one that do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like this. When I was in school, when we were doing our research, I read plenty research articles that stated that the Black women did not take care of themselves, and there were several different reasons. Take care of themselves or did not exercise because, number one, their hair. The second one was the Black man, who stated he wanted her to be curvy, large, more of a motherly looking figure. That's in the research. They wanted that
research,
that nurturing. Yeah, peer-reviewed articles.
That's questions. People of color? Was it people of color?
Yes.
What demographic? I would challenge that research and want to know where they got that sample from, and did they do a fair sample size, or did they choose just a certain age group, or did they span that out widely, or was it a narrow research? I would challenge that.
Now, there's several different researchers that gave the same answers. Another question was, another answer was because they didn't feel safe in their environment to get out to exercise. So they had all of these reasons why they didn't take care of themselves. And so it wasn't just one research article, it was several of them. And I'd have to go back and pull them and find, but there's a lot out there.
But in 2023, you don't have to get out to exercise. There's YouTube, there's P90X, there's Insanity,
and these were earlier research articles, but I'm saying that's our thought process.
Well, it's because most of us didn't have a voice earlier. We really did. It's just like they say, they put out a lot of stuff on us that I disagree with. It's just like they say that most athletes marry outside their race, and that is not true. If you talk to most women, they say, oh, men get money, they marry outside their race. That is not true.
It's just the most popular one. See, that's what they put on TV.
Put a few of the sample that do, and then they paint that as a broad stroke of the majority.
That's true.
Now, you love who you love. I don't have a problem with that. But they try to put this out as a narrative. It's just like they got women saying stuff like you just said, well, women are getting BBLs for Black men. I've never had a conversation where I had never in my life have I heard a man say, "Man, I only like date girls that got BBLs."
But I think it's
Or like
women.
this.
Women are. I guess women are women who have BBLs. I think a lot of times they're saying that, "Oh, I got it," instead of just owning it and saying that's what I want to do. So maybe they are fabricating that story and making it about them.
Yeah, own it. Stop putting undue burdens on black men. And that's the only thing I'm trying to do. There's certain things. So black men has got enough on his plate. And yeah, we have done some things that we need to correct with the black woman, but don't put the stuff we didn't do on us. We got enough.
Well, you talk about, like she said, what Donna was saying, that, you know, when black women don't exercise, they say because of black men. I've been training for 25 years. And I will say that is a hurdle for black women.
Okay, can I say something?
Don't want them to work out, and then on the flip side of that, like most of my white clients, females, their husbands are paying for the fitness. Now I work in this arena and I talk to people all the time. And as soon as if I'm training a black woman and then she starts to change and she starts to feel good about herself, it becomes an issue. It's been such an issue that they've accused me and the woman of being together because we work out together. I'm like, no, I like D, I don't like P. I mean, so I'm just telling you because.
Go ahead, Coach. I know you were gonna say something.
I know there's a couple of stigmas that you women have to help us with. There's a couple of things we have to deal with our women working out. We don't necessarily want you coming home looking like us. And number two, I mean, you know, when you go to the gym, there's a lot more of us in there too. So there's two things we have to deal with. Why are you going to the gym? Probably because he's in there. You know, we got that dude in there and you want to go get, there's that. And then there's the fact that working out is not our issue. The fact that you got to come back and wind up looking like us is a problem. That's not all of us. That's not every, there's a difference between working out and building up. We want you to work out. We want you to get your stamina right. We want you to keep your feminine on, but we don't want you coming in looking like you just got off steroids. That's the only difference. That I think it's just a stigma. Not me. It's something you have to fix.
And
I've been a girl who's had better arms than me for a while.
And you hit on a key point there. It's more than just him not wanting her working out. They got other issues there that she's using an excuse of my husband don't want me to work out. Because if he that jealous that he think that y'all got something going on, that's not normal. It's some other stuff that she doing the reason or something going on in their communication.
I'm telling you, I'm working in this arena.
But you don't go home with them and hear the conversations that's going on and what she's saying and what she may be telling him. Oh, well, you don't work out. Everybody be in the gym be looking at me. I'm getting fine. You don't hear that type of conversation that may or may not be going on. Got him feeling insecure about her working out and everything. You don't know who else she texting or whatever and who she's sending pictures to. You know, either, oh, I'm working out and he ain't getting it.
And also what you think is not always true. So what he's thinking may not always be true.
Yeah, but what if she with no little tight clothes on go work out with you, then she come home with him, she got some sweatpants and a bonnet on.
You make a call, she jumps up and got to get ready. But yeah, but with him, well, like I said before, with him, it's like, hey, babe, why don't you put on something safe? I'm tired. I didn't worked out all day. We married. I mean, you do you. But then you call and say, hey, girl, you want to work out on Saturday? Oh, girl, let me get this. Order my new gym suit and everything else. So that's what I'm saying. If we don't know. Because I don't think most men, I think, would actually work out with they women.
No, they won't.
No, they won't.
Nah.
No.
If they got the time.
I've gone through the same thing that Sion has gone. I've been accused of the same thing, even to the point where they ended up divorcing and I had to go to court.
What?
I've been through that because what happened
If they
was
divorced over you working out, go ahead. Tell that story.
what happened was she began to get her independence back.
Mm.
Okay,
That's more
that
than
was the
working out.
issue. So she was working on herself because she had let herself go. And he had gotten so used to her being there at the house, doing this, doing that. And she began to feel good about herself again.
Well,
But
I
she
don't go with
changed
my
as
girl
a
because I
person.
don't want her to outbench me. That's the only
But
reason I don't go with mine.
their issue was he was very controlling. What I found out later, he had already put a gun to her head. He had already
See, that's the
done these
problem.
things.
That has nothing to do with working out. They had issues prior
But it
to
makes it
that
look
and going
like
in. And that's what I'm
it's
saying.
us.
They just
You know,
used that as an outlet
Yeah.
as the working out part. The underlying issue was always there. It wasn't that she was working
right.
out.
And I
But
did preface
I
it with
think that he,
stigma. It's something that needs to be, it can be fixed. It's a stigma. That's why I said that's something that you can help us with because we might not know that story. Just like I said, the only reason I don't go work out with my girls because she can outbench me. I ain't going to go work out with
Don't
her.
outbench your man, please don't.
Well, it's too late.
Well, sometimes it's just like that. You know, if you're competitive, yeah, I'm gonna say it, Burrell.
Let's get this straight. She
Outbench me. I'm
cannot
not talking
outbench
all the
me.
way home.
I can
Well,
out squat him, but I can't out bench.
Oh man, y'all gonna have a what they call that a squat and bench press or a contest or whatever. But I want to say this: I really enjoyed y'all. We getting
We've already
close
had
on
contests and I
time.
smoked her. We ain't doing that anymore.
That's what I'm talking
But ain't
about.
nothing wrong with a little friendly competition. But I do
It wasn't
appreciate
friendly.
you.
No
You know, I've been eager. I do appreciate y'all coming on the show, giving different views and points. I mean, as always, I hope this helps somebody. Women, black men, it's not, or men in general, not even just black men. We're not trying to hurt you, the majority of us. We're just trying to have a conversation. We go through enough at work. Show us a little love when we get home. You know, it's a new year. Let's try to come together, work as a team. I mean, I always hear black women have it worse, black men have it worse. We both got it bad. You both getting hit with the whip. So what difference do it make you got? I got 5 more lashes than you, or you got 10 more lashes than me. It still hurt. We both in pain. Let's get some help. Let's heal.
Listen and love, baby. Listen and love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Y'all know how to catch us. I want to thank 3 Wellness. Give me your websites real quick.
W www. 3 wellnessinstitute.com.
Coach Burrell, how would they find you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. See that young lady right there below me?
I can't see you on the radio, but yeah.
Okay. Miss Donna Neely. I'm connected in that wave simply because the one thing that I understood about this whole deal is the 8 dimensions of wellness are affected by relationships.
Yeah.
Period. It's one of the very few things that affects every single dimension.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want me, find Donna and we'll go from there.
But down the connection. And you know how to find us, Ali After 5, www.aliafter5.com. We live every Wednesday on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch from 8 to 9. And then we're live on this, obviously, on this radio station from 9 to 10 every Wednesday. We hope you have a happy and prosperous new year, and hopefully you can turn these relationships around.
Yep.
Till next Wednesday, we'll see you. Thank you for joining us.
All right. See ya.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
lady.